Hello, this is Wanda, the Foil and Rock Lady, here with you. I am going to do a little bit on how to resin our foiled rocks, or any rock for that matter. With foiled rocks, you have to be a little more prepared because sometimes your resin will move off of the foil, and you know, it's pretty easy just to re-resin if that happens, but it's highly frustrating after all the hard work you do to watch it, you know, just kind of move away from the areas where the foil is. So to avoid that, you can brush a coat of Duraclear or a high gloss varnish, or any, it doesn't have to be gloss, it could be matte, medium, whatever, but brush on. Go ahead and put that on all over your rock, because wherever you put a brush on, it will change the color of your final rock. So if you only do a brush on here, when you resin, the resin will turn this part of your rock dark where the brush on's not. And then where the brush on is will remain lighter color. So you want to make sure that if you want your rock to stay a lighter color, you have brush on everywhere. Now, with that said, with foils, spray can damage your foils. So if you're going to use like a Krylon clear spray, you're going to want to seal this with that brush on first and then spray your rock. That spray will crinkle and crackle up your foil a lot of the time. Sometimes it doesn't, but 99% of the time it will damage your foils. A few people I know have very good success with it, and I don't know the trick, but I did spray this rock before or after I brushed on my varnish just on my dragon. I just did the brush on the dragon. I did it with a little brush like this and literally brushed the varnish around the dragon. The reason for that is because I used a Posca pen to line this, and it was bleeding a little bit on another rock, so I got a little bit nervous. So you can do that. Definitely recommend the spray to cover pens and stuff so that it doesn't bleed when you resin. All right, let's get busy with resin. So to resin, I recommend a 1-to-1 ratio. It's easy to deal with. You don't have to do a lot of math. I'm not strong in math, so yeah, 1-to-1 ratio. This is the kind I use. It's a Lumelite Amazing Clear Cast, 2-part. I got this at a Hobby Lobby for $23.99 about 6 months ago. It's a lot more expensive online. I don't know why, but you know, if you go into Hobby Lobby with a coupon, you can pick it up for a pretty reasonable price. Okay, so what you want to do is have gloves. Make sure you're wearing your gloves. You need your mask and goggles, just protective gear. Resin is a chemical and it can cause issues. So you want to make sure you are ready for your project. Put on your gloves. Make sure you're gloved up. You want to have your area prepped and ready. This is a shelf liner, and I've turned it over, and the back side is glossy and slick. So that's what I use when I resin. Underneath it is a silicone mat. Absolutely. You can use that too. You can use anything that's pretty much plastic and slick. Even wax paper works. The bottom of a Rubbermaid, you know, box. Anything pretty much with a slick surface that will release from resin. So you also are going to want a torch to get rid of the bubbles. This is just a butane little torch. Some stir sticks and measuring cups. These are Amazon, they're medicine measuring cups. You just get them on Amazon. I'm not sure how much, but they're not very expensive at all. Or a silicone measuring cup. I have a hard time reading these, so I use these. Stir sticks, and of course, whatever you're going to resin. I always wear an apron as well because resin will ruin your clothes. 100%. You also want to have some alcohol or hand sanitizer handy. because if it does get on you or on something that you don't want it on, that will clean it up. So this is from Sam's Club. I use this kind. Is 80% topical solution, hand sanitizer. It's a spray, it's a liquid, easy to use, or rubbing alcohol. I know rubbing alcohol is hard to find right now, and it seems like the hand sanitizers are plentiful again. So, sorry, I'm having trouble tying my apron. Anyways, we're going to resin this big old dragon rock tonight that I did the tutorial on the other night. So I'll show you guys how to do a big rock. So you want 2 separate measuring cups to mix resin. You want to make absolutely certain that you have the exact portions in each cup. You have 2 bottles of resin in a kit. One is the resin and one is the hardener. And you do not want to mix up your caps. So make sure you keep your bottles separate when they're open, okay? So you want to pour off the amount that you're going to need, and it takes a very little bit of resin to cover a rock. So if you only have a rock to do, like 5 ml tops, it's more than you need. So to do this rock would be, but I have a whole bunch of rocks over here I'm doing. So I'm going to mix up 20 total. So I'm going to put 10 in each of my cups, and it's cold, so my resin is kind of stiff. You really ideally want your resin warm. I had it warmed up, but then I had to go cook dinner. So make sure you measure it on a flat, level surface. Okay, cap on and put that away. Okay, make sure you know exactly what your measurement is, and pour your second, the resin part. I'm gonna turn that around. You can see. Okay, and I think I have less. I might need a little more of the other one. So when you've got them measured out, you're going to want to mix them together. You can do that by putting them both in one cup, or by putting them both in a different cup. And I just prefer to put them both in one cup. Sorry, I'm a little short on this side. Come on. I obviously need to buy some resin, yeah. Come on. Too close. There we go. This is so thick, it's cold. It's crazy. It's South Texas and it's cold. That doesn't ever happen. Well, it does, but... Okay, there we go. Measurements are good. So you want to make absolutely certain that your measurements are accurate. Okay, caps on, put away. Mix for 2 minutes. It's easier if you pour the thinner one into the thicker one. You'll notice that the hardener is thicker and the resin is thinner. So scrape, 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 because you measured it out. And then toss, or if you're using silicone, set it aside, let it dry, and then you can just pop that out. Or no, you need to clean this, sorry. Yeah, once it's mixed, you leave it in there and let it dry, and then you can just pop that resin out of your silicone cup. So now you're going to mix for 2 minutes, and I'm going to pause you so you don't have to watch me stir for 2 minutes. Okay, so you want to make sure and scrape your sides often and the bottom while you're mixing, and mix really well for 2 to 3 minutes. Now you're going to see bubbles. It's inevitable when you're mixing. Bubbles happen unless it's very, very warm where you are. Then there's a lot less bubbles. The warmer it is, the less bubbles there are. Right now it's cold, so you see a lot of bubbles. You can get rid of most of those by letting your resin sit for a few minutes, without being disturbed. But it has a 40-minute work time, so you don't want to let it sit too long. Otherwise you'll have sticky, really hard resin, and it'll be very hard to work with. So, okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rocks to do. So what I recommend is starting on the back side. Take a little tiny bit, just a little bit of resin, like so, and then you're going to rub it around and then turn it over, and basically like a bar of soap, rub that resin all over your rock. And then once you have it done like that, you're going to just add a little bit to the front and rub it around. It's one finger. Generally I don't cover facets on rhinestones, but for the sake of the tutorial, like that, and then you place it to dry flat like that. So you want to start on the back. This rock is 7 pounds, so it's a biggie. Put your resin on, rub it around, see how little that is? It's just a coating. You do not want this dripping. If it's dripping or oozing or it looks too glassy, it's going to cause a shelf on the bottom of your rock, and then you'll have that to deal with, and that's no fun. Also, you get bubbles when you have too much resin. You'll see bubbles and bumps and things that you don't need. Okay, add some more resin to the top of your rock. This is a huge rock, so I put a lot of resin on there. And then spread it around. Basically like you would a big old bar of soap. And it's ready to stay there and be resin, or stay there and dry. So 24 hours, what you want to do. Generally, they're touchable after about 12. But don't be tempted. Just, if you can, leave it alone. Let it cook. Okay, on the back, rub it around, flip it over. With a good coating. Put it down. Add the resin on the top. Spread it with your gloved hands. Now I think I got too much on this rock, so you can just take it off. It'll be on your gloves, and then add it to your next rock, just what's on your gloves. And then add some to the top. Like that. So you can see how much little resin that I made. It was 20 mLs total. I put 10 of each in there. It's going to do all 6 of my rocks, and I may have leftovers. I'm going to move this guy out of the way. This is my mother's memorial stone. Love you, Mama. And my stepfather. It's been a tough couple years. Okay, one more. Like my fishy rock. This rock, the front of it was sealed with the UV top coat, UV nail polish top coat. And that's pretty awesome. And yes, you can resin right over the top of that. So twirl it around like a bar of soap. It's actually kind of fun. And set it to dry. And so that's it. You're ready now at this point. You're not going to touch these anymore, okay? So you take off your glove carefully, not to get any resin on you. Hold it in your hand. Stick your finger under your glove. Pull it around the glove and dispose of it. That way you don't touch any resin, okay? It's important. Resin is very, very irritating. Yeah. Don't want to get it on you, trust me. Okay, so this is how you get rid of the bubbles. You take your torch, make sure it's lit, and you basically just run it over your rocks a couple of times. Don't leave it anywhere for too long because you'll burn the resin. Obviously, you don't want to burn yourself either, so be very, very careful. Torches are extremely hot. So you could see the bubbles pop if you get down eye level to them. I'll bring the camera down in just a moment so you can see. The bubbles are gone. Okay, good job. Torch down. Let me grab the camera. See, nice and glossy. Beautiful resin. So in 24 hours, these will be ready to rock and roll. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. For cleanup, you can use your hand sanitizer if you got it anywhere. Just wipe it down. Make sure you throw away empties so that, you know, don't have those to get stuck in later. All right, take good care. Hello, I'm back, and I forgot to tell you guys, when you're all done resining and you're ready to put it up, you're going to want to cover your stuff with something like either a cardboard box or, you know, something that will keep the dust particles or hair, animal hair, from getting in your rocks, because once it's there forever. So yeah, definitely cover up your project, and you'll be nice and happy with it when you are ready to uncover it. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, hit like. If you want to see some more, hit subscribe, and obviously hit the bell so you can be notified when I'm uploading new content. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again real soon.